thank you for joining us today in Beyond the Sport. I am your host, Gabriela Mandujano, and today we will be having a very special guest, Jasmine Lopez. Today we will be discussing some relevant topics regarding sports and age.
Yes, thank you for having me here, Gabby. It's an honor being here with you today and being able to share my opinion and passion for sports.
No, we really appreciate you being here because we really want to have those insights from an athlete's view.
Thank you. I've honestly really wanted to be in a show like this, so thank you for having me.
Let's get into today's topic. How does age impact an athlete's peak performance? Before doing my homework, I actually believe that athletes in their early 20s were the most likely to excel in competitions in comparison to older athletes. But now that I made my research, I know that there are aspects that influence this in many ways, and I'd like you to expand more in this topic.
Yeah, so that's actually a good point that you brought up because it's a common myth to believe that older athletes won't perform as well as younger athletes, and plenty of research has actually been conducted to try to contradict this myth.
Yeah, actually the specific study that we want to discuss today is named Age of Peak Competitive Performance of Elite Athletes: A Systematic Review by researchers Allen and Hopkins in 2015.
So the purpose of the study was to predict the age at which athletes perform their best. What Allen and Hopkins did was that they analyzed elite athletes, both male and female, across different sports in the 21st century and compared their ages when they reached this ideal peak.
But more than contradicting this myth, why is it useful?
Yes, so it's not just to say, oh, like this is wrong, but it also has many benefits. So if you have an athlete development program as a coach, you want to identify how your prospect is going to do and if it's like worth recruiting them. And as an athlete, you want to know like when you're going to reach your peak.
Okay, so this linear regression analysis uncovered ongoing trends in sports, so notably in specific categories. It is important for you to know that there is no specific age range of reaching the prime, but actually a diverse set of ranges.
Yes, and it also doesn't matter whether you're male or female, the difference among the genders seems to be relatively the same. As you mentioned, it's really specifically against the type of sport that you're competing in. So it's important to mention that although there is not a specific age range, the peak is reached in your 20s, whether it's early, mid, or late, depending on the sport.
And the list is as follows. Early to mid 20s is a peak for skill-based sports.
Yeah, so for example, tennis and gymnastics.
And then we have the mid to late 20s, which is ideal for strength-based sports such as
weightlifting and karate.
Yeah, and those who are in endurance sports tend to peak in their late 20s to their early 30s.
And these sports include swimming, triathlon, and team sports like basketball and soccer. So like Abby mentioned, the linear regression model allowed us to identify trends between the age and the performance of athletes, but this does not always mean that it will be the case. Linear regression basically just shows us what we can expect to see based on what has been going on in past events and with athletes.
Yeah, and this actually leads us to the next part of the show, which you will see very soon.
Okay, so Gabby, you gave me this bowl right here. Can you explain what activity we will be doing today?
Yeah, so we are going to choose an athlete from this bowl here, and we want to analyze their trajectory and their peak age.
Okay, so let's begin. Can you start, please?
Oh, okay, thank you. And we got Manny Pacquiao. So this is boxing. And this is a strength-based sport, meaning that this sport athletes are expected to peak in their late 20s. So he actually reached his peak at age 29, which was when he became the world champion and didn't retire until age 40, which is actually really crazy.
Yes, I think I heard a lot about him while I was growing up. And also, well, like you say, it's crazy that it matches with what the research, said.
Yeah, then you go please, Jess.
Okay, I'll just get this one, and it's LeBron James. So he's a basketball player. He also continues to be one of the favorites among the NBA, and he competed in the last edition of the Olympics with Team USA. Between the ages of 27 and 34, he won multiple individual and team awards. And well, this is an endurance sport, so his expected peak should be between the late 20s and early 30s, and well, he did it during that time period.
Yeah, okay, so let me go now. I repeat this one. So we got Serena Williams. Okay, so she is the most influential woman in tennis. She's like the most influential tennis player. I'm pretty sure you know her. And she actually had 2 peaks, which is really amazing because she had one at 21 years old, which is common for skill-based sports, as athletes tend to peak in their early 20s. However, she also had another at 33 years old.
Yes, it's crazy. Like, once again, even when she's older, she's doing really good in her sport. And honestly, I feel I've heard more about her than actual male tennis players. So once again, gender doesn't play a factor. You can peak at any age and gender. So
Yeah.
the last one.
Yes, please.
So Cristiano Ronaldo. Soccer. So football indicates a pattern of peak performance in the late 20s to early 30s, similar to basketball since it's an endurance sport. And once again, it aligns very well with the research because he reached his peak at age 33 and he continues playing at 39 and he's still breaking records at this age. So I think all of these athletes that we've been picking out demonstrate that age is just a number.
Yeah, and actually we can see this a lot with Cristiano.
Yes, definitely.
So we are towards the end of the show, but it is very impressive to see how athletes break records every day. And by doing so, they do not fail to impress us with their great feats, even as their career comes to an end.
Yes, and also let this be a reminder, whether you're slamming a racket or stepping into the ring or aiming for the Champions League, peak performance is all about timing and strategy. Age is not an obstacle.
Totally. And thanks for being here with us today. And also thank you so much, Jasmine, for your time and for your insights. And we learned a lot with you today. And stay tuned for our next show.